The customer who challenged me the most became one of my best customers. There were some valuable lessons I learned about trust, patience, and not judging the customer too soon. This is several years ago. It was early into a career. I was in sales and we were selling cell phones at the time. Now, this would have been in the first week or two. I think there was some training, but it was my very first day out in the field. Now, to help us out, I believe we had some inbound calls. Ideally, we were looking for business-to-business customers because our cell phone back then actually had a two-way radio. So you have a lot of businesses such as construction companies, or maybe you had a courier type service and you just wanted this quick push to talk. That was the selling benefit of our phone. I went to this appointment. There was a transmission shop that had called in. Now, every month there's various promotions. And I went to this call alone, a very small transmission shop. Imagine a transmission shop you'd see like in a strip mall where there's various businesses side by side, not a lot of room to park. When you enter the business, there's a counter, not a lot of seating area. But I met the husband and wife that owned this transmission shop. They were very friendly. I was able to answer all of their questions, went through the promotions, and they were ready to purchase. We had the paperwork out to get everything started. And they said, wait 1 second, we want to talk to one of our transmission techs and see if they want a phone as well. We'll say that his name was Larry. So Larry enters the front office out of the back where they're doing all the work, and right out of the gate, he was not happy. And picture this, a big muscular guy, long ponytail, slicked back hair into a ponytail that probably went to his waist, massive biceps, 20-inch biceps, all tattooed, and he looked like he was going to break me in half. Right out of the gate, he accused me of trying to cheat this couple. Now, this couple, they were maybe in their early 60s, I would imagine. So basically accusing me of trying to rob and cheat these customers, that the functions I said the phone could do, it could not do, that he could buy these less expensive somewhere else, and just attacked me. The whole sale completely unraveled. Now, before that, I thought, wow, this is really easy. Sales isn't that challenging. And I learned really quickly that it wasn't. Now, I kept my composure, and I said, honestly, I'm very new with this. I believe these are all the correct promotions. Let me just verify and I'll confirm and get all of your questions answered. Now, this is decades ago, right? So I'm just reflecting back and thinking about this story. But I called somebody back at the office, and there was somebody much more senior that had been in the business for quite some time, and said, "Hey, no worries. You know what? Let's both talk with them." And I believe I left the appointment, picked up the other sales rep. We came back, and I was just telling him how this whole event unfolded. And I was just like, oh man, let's just leave this alone. This is not going to be a good customer. This is going to be a lot of headaches. I was just dreading, to be honest, to go back there. I didn't think I'd live to tell this story to share with you. We go back. The senior sales rep that I was with was completely confident, knew all the ins and outs. Everything I explained was correct. And the person, Larry, that was ready to strangle me, was like, okay, it sounds like good. And he bought a phone, and the two business owners purchased phones. We leave the appointment, and that senior sales rep, of course, I thanked him for helping me out. And he said, you watch, that guy's going to be one of your best customers. He seems really difficult, but I've done this long enough. And I was just thinking, man, I don't know. This is going to be rough. So the phones get shipped to the customers. And I think I was in a meeting, and I get this missed call, a number I didn't recognize, and it was Larry, the transmission expert, and he leaves me this scathing voicemail, and I'm fuming because another one of these kind of accusing me of not being there, where's my customer service, just ripping me a new one. I call him back. Now, granted, 20-inch arms, tattoos, long black hair, looked like he was going to break me in half. Now I'm confident because I don't know where he's at. He's not in front of me. So I'm really confident on the phone. Hey, don't ever call me and accuse me of this and that. I want to be one of your best, customer service reps. What's the issue? It was, you just left me a message. I was in a meeting, but I called you within minutes or so, within less than a half hour. I'm sure it was quick. And we began talking, and you know what's interesting? That senior sales rep with that experience was exactly right, because Larry referred me multiple customers from multiple businesses. And Larry and I actually became friends. We connected on riding motorcycles. I've got the helmet there in the back. I've got a sport bike, a 1992 CBR 600 F2. If that means anything to you, not if you're in the motorcycles, you'll know. Larry and his wife had Harley Davidsons, and they invited me to take a ride from Las Vegas, Nevada, south through Oatman. So right across the river there in Arizona, there's this old Western like ghost town. There's burros roaming the streets. You could feed carrots and things. And when you take this ride, it's a long straight shot. You go through some windy roads through Oatman, things slow down, and we came up through Kingman and came back through the Hoover Dam. But we became really, really good friends. And in time, Larry went on to open his own transmission shop. And I referred customers to him. I took all my cars there. And I'll never forget, I go to Larry's transmission shop, and there is a woman, I don't know, late 70s, hugging him. And I remember him telling her, that's my policy. If I don't find any issues with your vehicle, I'm not going to charge you. That's how I operate my shop. Now, after that customer left and I'm back in the office with Larry, he's telling me about his shop. And he said, Robert, I didn't open this shop to become wealthy. I wanted to run a business the right way. And again, a short little waiting, maybe 2 or 3 seats, and then the front desk. And imagine Larry on one side of the desk, me on the other. And he says, Robert, I run this business like Jesus would run this business. I treat everybody with respect. He said, we had a young kid in here that needed a spring for a transmission, and I helped him out. I gave him these little parts for free. And he said, everywhere else he had gone and asked for advice, the people laughed at him. So over all of this time, I had a whole new perception of Larry. He may have had this intimidating look on him, and he just looked like he would just rip me in half. And that was not the case at all. I remember we would call and stay in contact, and I called him once and he was whispering. And I'm like, Larry, what are you whispering for? He says, hey, Robert, hey, man, can I call you back? I'm at my Bible study. There were just so many things that surprised me. I just didn't picture him because I had this perception of this rough, tough, intimidating person, and that was not who he was at all. Became a great customer for customers. When he opened his shop, I was his customer and referred all my friends and family to him, and he did amazing work. And he was an expert in transmission repair, and had a great business. So there's some valuable lessons that I learned meeting Larry. I learned the value of establishing and building that trust for both of us. I learned establishing patience, so that's another important one. And the third one is not to judge somebody on that initial conversation. I know they say that first impressions, but things completely change way beyond that. And another bonus lesson here is trust your experts. You know, that senior sales rep in the office came out, supported me, and helped me. It's something that I would do in the future and reciprocate. But he knew exactly how this was going to play out, and it played out exactly. This really difficult customer, once we answered his questions and we were on the same page, became one of the best referral sources. So when you're out there and things look a little bit difficult, remember this story. And you never know, that difficult customer that you had may become a really close, good friend that you trust and that you respect. Have an amazing day. Thanks again for being here. Appreciate you. And we'll talk soon. Thanks.